Hello everyone, Drake Robinson here. So this is a video I've kind of been holding off doing, for the simple fact that I didn't want to make it seem like I was, in any way trying to avert the spotlight from where it should be, which is on the tragedy onto myself. Um, it was a way for, I didn't want to make it seem like, I was trying to, just kind of attention whore off the events that took place, so that's why I held off doing it. This video is, of course, upon the Texas tragedy that happened last week. You know, it it's something where you can look at it both ways if you're honest and objective. Of course, you come from a place of great sympathy for the children that were involved, the families that were involved. But also, I can't lie to myself and say that I also don't come from a great place of empathy for the shooter. What's his name? Salvador. I forgot his last name, but his name is Salvador, and I looked into his past, that's also another reason why I held off doing a video. I wanted to do my own research because one thing I tell you guys to not do all the time is to not listen to the mainstream media, the mainstream privileged media, who push their own agenda onto you. They don't actually allow you to come to your own conclusions. That's what I always say: do your own, be independent in how you come to your own conclusions on these types of events. Um, so yeah, I can't, like I said, I can't lie and say I don't. Part of me doesn't empathize with the shooter as well, because I just look at him and I see that he and I are both, for the most part, cut from the same cloth. A lot of these mass shooters, pretty much are. They're all mentally disturbed, obviously. They all, they're all, very troubled people, but that's the thing, too. No one cared that they were troubled until what happened, until they, take the lives of others. That's just a sad, unfortunate fact. People in their own family don't care. Their friends, their acquaintances, their teachers, none of them care until these type of events happen, and then they want to get on camera and cry their eyeballs out saying they didn't know, but that's a lie because they did know. That's the saddest part about this. I mean, well, that, and also obviously worse is the lives that were lost. So that's also a very sad part of the story. But I'm talking about um, that aspect of people just not caring. People just not caring enough. And honestly, I can relate to that because there's people in my personal life that, I've come to them with that, I just seem like they don't care enough about my problems. That's why I can empathize with these people, as horrible, as the actions they did to, um, as the actions they do, as morally grotesque as they are. A small part of me can empathize with them because there's internal and there's external ways of looking at things all the time. It doesn't matter what the situation is. So like I can look at this kid and see where he and see his upbringing and kind of compare it to mine and say, wow, besides the, obvious, mass murder part of it, we are very much alike. But I could also have great, immense sympathy for the young, innocent lives that were also taken, unfortunately, due to the lack of action, also that I'm hearing from the police, yeah, I think it was the police, not the Border Patrol, of this unfortunate event. And and it's just it's just sad all around. Like, I can sympathize greatly with those kids and their families, and I wish them the best. Their families the best. Hopefully they can get past it. Um, One day, I know obviously not anytime soon. Um, but I could also look at the shooter, um, the Salvador kid, and see only 18 years old. I mean, me personally, I don't believe anyone's ever born a murderer, ever born disturbed, ever born psychotic, if you want to use all those words. I believe it's all about upbringing. I believe it's all about, them maybe having and, developing, those mental disorders over time, due to their loneliness or due to, being bullied at school, which I also heard this kid was, just being overall, rejected by society as another thing I can relate to, I can empathize with him on, as a victim of that myself. Um, I can look at all those, and bunch them into one and see, I can see why he turned out to be a killer. Like I said, there's factors that go into it, and there's always warning signs. One thing I always hear constantly whenever these situations happen is, were there warning signs? Did the family, did the friends notice? Well, I don't think he had any friends, but did the family notice that there were warning signs? And if they did, um, what did they do about it? Well, obviously there were. He was cutting himself. He was, acting out. He dropped out of high school, I believe. And none, he had made threats allegedly before. But did anyone in his family do anything about that? No, not at all. So this kid obviously was rejected by his own family as well. His family clearly were a bunch of blue pillars who didn't care about, the well-being of their obviously black-pilled son. And when I say black-pilled, I can see it's obvious he was, but he wasn't the type of black pill that I necessarily promote. I promote the black pill of, accepting the situation, the fact that the world is never gonna be fair to you, and that it's okay to let that. It's okay to, I guess, keep that in the back of your mind if you ever want to think about doing something and it doesn't work out. You know why? Because the world is never going to be fair to you. But this kid obviously um, went with the totally different type of black pill that, I don't necessarily promote. But I'll just leave that there. This is very depressing overall. Like I said, not only the young kids that were involved, but we have, people trying to profit off of it, the media, like I said before. We have people, who I guess paint with this broad brush that all loners like myself, are just nothing but waiting mass killers, which is just completely false. But those people, you know who those people are. I don't have to tell you good guys that. This is a very sad story all around. So, those are just my thoughts. I have great sympathy for the families and obviously for the kids. But I can't lie and say I don't empathize just a little bit. Part of me with the Salvador guy, with the Salvador kid, because it's hard for me not to. Being that we are, like I said, minus the taking of innocent lives, which I don't advocate for at all, on this channel. Um, Besides that part, we are kind of cut from the exact same cloth. I think I empathize more with the mass shooters, sympathy obviously for their victims, but I can empathize with them, 18 and lower, because they're still young. They still all the shooters that I've read up on that have that are 18 and below, they have had troubled backgrounds. They have had troubled histories in the past. They have had warning signs, and none of the people around them did nothing to help them out with it. And that's what just makes me so mad, because there are warning signs there, but it's just like some people. But it's just like people, even in families, they don't care about their problems until their problems affect them, because they're now in the spotlight because of the fact that the person they refuse to help did something completely out of this world that they felt that they had to do to get I guess taken seriously. And that's the saddest part to me. It's that you feel like a lot of what goes in these mass shooters' brains is they have to do what they have to do, because people aren't taking them seriously otherwise. Even in their own families. Like I say, I go back to family because it always goes back to it. It always goes back to the inner circle of who's around them and who could have gotten them help when they really needed it, but they didn't because they didn't care. So yeah, like I said, those are just my thoughts. You guys can let me know what you think. This is a very sad story overall. I'm out.